This is Oklahoma Voice with Jonathan Clour on KTLV 1220. Good evening and welcome to the program. I'm Jonathan Clour. Tonight we welcome my good friend Kacie Kinney to the show. She is a successful real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty, and she's come to discuss the home buying and selling process, as well as give us some tips on how to make the process smoother. So if you're a first-time home buyer or seller, then tonight's program is for you. Hey, good evening, Kacie. Welcome to Oklahoma Voice.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. For our listeners at home that don't know this, Kacie and I actually went to high school together, and we've known each other for quite a long time.
Yes, we have.
And I've been so excited to see your success in real estate, and I just look forward to having you on so that we can talk about your business and how you can help folks out when it comes time to buy or sell a home.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Me too. Kacie, I found an article from time.com, and it was published March 10th of this year, and it is about a house going up on the market. And I don't know whether I should be humored or concerned by this listing. I needed a real estate expert to run this by, so would you be willing to hear me out on this?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. There is a homeowner in Indonesia that has put her house on the market. She is a single parent looking to, let's just say, expand her horizons. Well, her home listing went viral overnight. The list price for this home is $76,000. And the first day the house went on the market, the realtor said that there has been hundreds of calls from prospective buyers to view this property because of one amenity that this home offers. And so I was bound to figure out why and how this home became so popular, so I looked at the listing. It sounds quite charming. So, Kacie, okay, listen to this. It's a two-bedroom home. It is also has 2 bathrooms, and it is in a sleepy district near the quaint city of Yogyakarta. Now, keep in mind, this is in Indonesia.
Yes.
So here is a list of the amenities. It is well equipped with a fish pond, a spacious backyard, and, wait for it, a wife.
Oh, boy.
Now I have heard of animals being sold with a home or property. Even my aunt and uncle left their cat for their next owners of their house, but I have never heard of a wife coming with the property. So,
wow.
Kacie, have you ever experienced selling a home or a property like this with a live-in spouse?
You know, refrigerators, washers, and dryers are more common for me. I don't think I've ever sold a spouse before. But was her picture included?
Oh man, I couldn't see a picture of that, so that was probably part of the strategy not to post the picture. There's probably a reason why she's going with the property. Okay, well, the listing goes on to say this, that, now this is a quote, the buyers who don't negotiate the price can ask the owner for their hand in marriage. So this sounds like a 2-in-1 kind of deal, don't you think?
It does. It looks like a steal.
It looks like the previous owner is the one going ahead with this deal because she gets the return of what the house is worth and she gets to stay in her house.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like a deal.
Okay, so the realtor says that it was his idea to concoct this whole plan. However, if there is an interested buyer out there and the person does not care to have a wife, or if they don't care for this particular wife, well, breathe a sigh of relief because this amenity is not mandated. And yes, well, the homeowner stated that she was looking for a husband anyway, so she decided to throw up the tagline in the listing, buy the house and marry the owner at the same time.
That is great.
Well, I figured you'd get a kick out of that. And it looks like this lady really knows how to make her property stand out from other homes. and obviously she's captured the attention of many people. So let's say a homeowner is willing and ready to sell. How do they make their home stand out from their competition in a sea of other listings, Kacie?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get that question a lot. So basically it comes down to two things, and the two things that we say it comes down to is price and condition. So that's the two things that buyers are going to be looking at. If it's priced right, which is 80% of the marketing right there, and if it's in great condition. Now, if it's not in great condition, you're going to have to price it lower, and if it's in great condition, you can price it a little bit higher. So those are the two things that people are looking at. If it's in great shape, it's clean, it's tidy, it doesn't smell bad. We want it to look like the buyers, when they come in, they want to see their own things on the walls, and they want to see their own furniture there. So we try to make it as open and as empty as possible so that they can visualize themselves living there.
I see. And you were saying that it needs to be priced correctly. How do you even go about getting a quote for a home? What is that process?
Well, what we do is we look at the neighborhood comparable. So a comparable sale, we look back in the past 6 months in that neighborhood in particular or surrounding areas. And for a more realistic idea, we look back just 90 days. So we see properties that are similar age and size to the sale. And then we decide, okay, what have other properties sold for in this neighborhood? And that's how we get an idea of what the market will support in that particular area. And that's how we determine a price.
Okay. And are there some realtors that know these different areas better than others?
Definitely. There are some agents who have made their business just working in historical areas, just working in certain cities, certain districts. Most agents usually work in different areas, but there are some that just specialize in certain types of properties.
Wow, okay. Is there any particular property that you will work with or that you prefer to work with?
Well, I was born and raised in Yukon, and so Yukon tends to be the area that I'm most knowledgeable about, but we've lived in Norman and Moore and now Oklahoma City. So I pretty much, my hub is in Yukon because I live there, and I'm a majority of the time I'm spending in Yukon, Mustang, Oklahoma City, Bethany, and then sometimes in Norman and Moore as well.
Okay, so let's just say if there's a young family that is wanting to buy a home, what place in Oklahoma City, what area is up and coming and is ideal for a young family to raise their kids?
Yeah, that's a great question. Some of the neighborhoods that are really popular right now are in the 23rd Street area, which is uptown. The Midtown area is really popular. Cleveland is a really popular addition right now. There's a great elementary school connected to it, which a lot of families love. And that's 23rd Street around May. And those are they're really close to downtown. They're easily accessible to the highway. And so we see a lot of concentration of families moving into that area right now.
Yes, I love some of those older homes in that area, and it's beautiful when some of these homes have been restored back to their original beauty.
Absolutely.
And so it sounds to me like the family would just need to choose whether they want to live in the city or perhaps maybe outside of the city in a suburb.
Definitely. And when they choose to live in the city with those older homes, I always tell people it's kind of like adopting a child because you're going to be taking care of it for the rest of its life. It's not, with these older homes, they take a lot of care. They take a lot of TLC, and that's pretty much for the life of them. These houses are 100 years old or, 75 to 100, and they take a lot of work. So it's kind of also, you have to ask yourself, do I want a project for the rest of my life? If I'm handy, it may be a great fit. If I don't want to do anything, it may be better to choose a house in a suburb where I can get a newer property that's way less maintenance.
Wow, I see. Very interesting. See, and I think a lot of people don't think about that. They might see an old, quaint home, and then they think they can actually visualize themselves living in it, but after they buy it, and then when the rubber meets the road and there has to be a few repairs done, that can add up quite quickly, and if you don't know how to do it yourself, that's going to even tack on more to sustaining the house.
Yeah, it's tough, especially first-time home buyers. You know, a lot of times don't have that in their budget, and you really do have to have a good cushion in your savings account just in case, say, your plumbing line breaks and you can't have plumbing to your house, or your electrical is original. And so that's something that a lot of first-time home buyers, I think, don't think about till they do get in the house, and then they're faced with a lot of expensive choices.
Okay. When you're looking at an old home and you might be interested in buying it, are there some things that you need to look out for?
Definitely. So the good thing about the old homes is that they normally have a crawl space, which means they're not built on a solid concrete foundation. Usually you can crawl under the property. And when you have your home inspection, which is when you hire somebody to come in and fully inspect the property, they're going to crawl under it. And they're going to look at the plumbing, and they're going to look at the electrical. They're going to look at the heating and air conditioning. If it has it, some of these properties don't even have central heating and air conditioning. Wow. So they're looking at those things, and they're making sure that either they've been updated or that you're aware that they need updating and getting a bid for those items.
So it sounds to me like it is very important to look at the things that you can't see on the exterior. It's what you can't see that matters.
Don't rely on your own visual inspection, because you may see some nice granite or nice cabinets and wood floors and fall in love, but you really have to do your due diligence and get a home inspection to make sure that there's no, we call these iceberg issues, that you may be able to see the top of, but when you really look into it, it's a way bigger issue than you might have originally thought.
Wow. And I was reading an article about a home that a couple was looking at. And when they first walked in, they saw that it was just their ideal home. The layout was perfect, and the exterior looked like it was in very good shape. But then they noticed that I think in the living room there was a fresh coat of paint that had been put over the wall. And you could even smell how fresh it was. And then what they also smelled was a very strong, let's just say, perfume that either the owners or the realtor had sprayed all throughout the house. And it turns out it was covering up some muskiness because there was a leak on that side of the house, and they were doing everything that they could to patch it and conceal it temporarily.
Oh, no. That would get you in trouble.
Wow. And so I guess it's these little things that we've got to be very careful about, and that we need to keep our eyes peeled. And it's probably best to bring several pairs of eyes in there to look over the property with you. Definitely, for sure. Kacie, I want to take a quick break here, and I want to remind our audience how to tune into our program. So you can tune into our program live using the TuneIn Radio app. If you don't have it already downloaded to your phone, I want to remind you that it is 100% free. Simply go to your App Store selection on your phone, tablet, or computer, or smart device, and enter TuneIn Radio into the selection bar, and then click Download. After you have it installed on your device, open the app, find the search bar at the top of your screen, and enter KTLV. You'll find it at the top of your list. Select the KTLV button and then push play. See, it's that easy. Or we have one other option to gain access to Oklahoma Voice, and that is live streaming at KTLV.com. I've also created a channel on YouTube where you can rewatch any shows that you might have missed, and that is at Oklahoma Voice with Jonathan Clour. These are all recorded by webcam and downloaded the evening of the show. So if you really want to see what's going on in the studios during the broadcast, we suggest you visit our YouTube channel. And I want to remind our audience that tonight we have Kacie Kinney with us live on the program. She is a real estate agent at Keller Williams and the lead member of the Kinney team. Kacie, could you please share with us some contact information for anyone that might want to contact you concerning buying or selling a house?
Yeah, absolutely. My email address is KacieKinney@kw.com, and that's spelled KacieKinney @KW, like KellerWilliams.com. And you can also go to my website, which is KacieKinney.com, or you can find me on Zillow, Trulia, Facebook, Twitter, any social media of your choosing. Just type my name and you'll find me.
Awesome. Now, Kacie, tell us about your family. I know you have your husband, Caleb, and your daughter, baby Roz. How did you meet Caleb? Did he come with your first home listing?
Yes, he was an advertising for sale, and I snatched it up.
All right. I don't blame you.
We met in high school. We went to the same church, and we started dating when I was a junior in high school, and he was a senior. And we got married after my sophomore year of college, which, looking back, I was kind of a baby. And so was he, and we've been married for 6 years, and we've got 3-year-old Roz, and she is a little redhead Spitfire, and we have a great time. We live in Yukon, and Caleb coaches football, and he teaches and preaches, and he has a lot of fun being able to teach and preach here in Yukon.
Awesome. I cannot believe it has already been 6 years.
I know. It's crazy.
And baby Roz, she's growing up so fast. I can't believe she's 3 years old.
Yeah, she's wild. She'll always be the baby, though.
and I think she takes a little after her mother. She's got red hair just like her mom.
She does. Some people say we look quite alike.
You guys are twins. Well, how did you choose real estate as a career?
Well, real estate kind of chose me. I found myself after college without a job. I had lost the job that I had in consulting. Our company disbanded, and I was pregnant. I had just found out I was pregnant, and I thought, gosh, no one's going to hire me now. So I just laid around for 6 months and did nothing until someone came to me and they said, gosh, you'd be good at real estate. You should get your real estate license. I said, well, I've always kind of been interested in that. I like HGTV, so that's all the criteria I need, right? So went ahead and got my real estate license when I was 9 months pregnant, and I delivered Roz 8 days later after I became licensed. And so I've been in the business about going on 3.5 years, and really picked it up about a little under 3 years ago when I really kind of ramped up after she was born, when she was about 6 months old. And made the move over to Keller Williams, which is the brokerage that I'm at now.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been able to start a team and grow the business, and we've been able to help quite a few families this year and last year and the year before, and it's been really great. But it kind of just happened to me. It wasn't really planned. It was just somebody coming to me and saying, you should really do this. And I didn't really have many better options at that point in time, so I did it.
Mm-hmm. I think some of the greatest things in life come from things that aren't planned. And it's at that moment that someone might see something special inside of us, whether that be a unique quality or a characteristic that just is vibrant and that stands out. And it looks like that's kind of what happened to you.
Yeah, it definitely meant a lot to me. And it always reminds me, if I ever see somebody doing something that I feel like they're good at or that they could be good at, I always want to make it a point to tell them that, because if nobody had done that for me, I really don't know where I would be right now. So just when you see that something in somebody that sparks an interest in you, or you think, wow, they would be really great at that, tell them, because that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I sometimes think that it is about evaluating yourself, looking at your skills, your talent, and then finding which job or vocation that would suit those skills and those qualities. And I think so many times people put the cart before the horse, and they actually just look at the job, and then they see the job on the exterior thinking, oh, this job will make good money, or, oh, I will look good doing this job. But then when push comes to shove and they're actually in that job, they realize it doesn't align with their skills and qualities, and it limits their potential. And I feel that if people would look at who they are on the inside and then search for that job, then it would come to pay them back at the end.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's that self-awareness of saying, I'm going to focus on the things that I'm really good at and not really care so much about the things that I'm not so good at. And once you focus on that, what you focus on expands into creating something for yourself that it could be really special, instead of going on and saying, well, like you said, looking at the outside and saying, okay, well, I could do that for this reason, but not really paying attention to you and being aware of what you're good at and what gives you life and what you're passionate about. So focusing in on that, I think nobody could go wrong if they just did that.
I enjoy your story of how you have entered the realty career, and it's motivating because I think more people need to follow in your footsteps. You need to follow your heart, but also listen to the prompting of what other people say. And not to say that you should listen to everything that people say, but when people steer you in the right direction, then seek it out and see if you can find some peace in that decision.
Definitely.
So do you feel that real estate is your calling right now?
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like I will do real estate forever, and
Wow.
I love it. It's never worked for me. I never get the Sunday night dread moment of, oh gosh, I have to go to work tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It brings me so much life, and it brings me so much happiness, and it's never worked to me. I could go into work as the sun rises and leave, after dark, and it fires me up, and I'll get home and not be able to sleep because of what happened that day and how exciting it was to help someone do this or that. And so, yeah, it's really special to me.
I think that's how you know when you found your niche.
Definitely.
And, I look at all the countless families and even single folks that you help in terms of buying or selling a house, and that's a service to the community. Am I right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's kind of one of those things that, especially what buyers don't understand, is when you work with a real estate agent as a buyer, you don't pay them anything. And some people may not understand that, but sellers pay real estate agents to sell their property, to market it and sell it. As a buyer or first-time home buyer, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I can't hire a real estate agent. I don't have the money for that. Well, really, it doesn't cost them anything. So what we are able to do is we can partner with them and help guide them through a totally unfamiliar territory where they have no idea what they're doing. And so the fact that I'm able to do that and not have to have anyone pay me or anything like that is just really neat, especially for people who may not be able to afford it on their own.
Wow, I didn't even realize that about real estate.
It's true.
Very interesting. I guarantee a lot of our listeners didn't know that either. So what is your average day like, or is there even an average day?
Well, I'll tell you what my average day should look like, but oftentimes does not look like this. So normally what I would do is wake up in the morning, of course, have my coffee or have it running out the door, and then go to the office. And the first 2 hours of the day is, have you heard the 80-20 rule? So I'm focusing on the 80% or the 20% that gets me 80% of the results. So I'm focusing on the things that really matter those first 2 hours of the day. So I'm calling leads, I'm following up with people, I'm sending emails of communication and touching base with people and kind of keeping track of what's going on. That's what fuels my business. And most of what fuels my business is referrals. So people who I've worked with in the past who would like to refer me to a friend or family member, that's the time that I spend connecting with those people. Then I send emails. Well, actually, all peppered throughout my day is emails.
Okay.
All the time. Emails and texts.
Wow.
And then usually in the afternoon we do appointments. So a listing appointment, a buyer consultation. If we have to do a home inspection, like I talked to you about earlier, that's the time that we do that. And if we show properties, it would be then. So, and then I usually end my day in the summertime, about 8 or 9. In the wintertime, we can't really show houses in the dark as much, so we're done a little bit earlier in the winter.
Yeah.
And then weekends as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, what's been your greatest struggle?
I think there's a lot of hard spots. It's not an easy job. It's fun to do and I love it, but it's not easy. I think probably the biggest struggle is working with people who aren't kind or don't want to work things out. So dealing with those tricky people, and everybody has them in whatever business you're in. Everybody's got that tricky person at work, and some agents are trickier than others. So that's the hardest thing because it's a people business and it's a customer service business. So when you really get that person who's just mean, it can kind of take the wind out of your sails.
Right.
And luckily I don't work with too many of them, but they're out there. So I try to steer clear of those.
Yeah. Well, how about a highlight? Has there been a particular moment that you've felt really overjoyed being able to help a family out, or or a particular motivational moment in your career?
Definitely. I just, this year, we've hit and exceeded all of our business goals, and
Awesome.
we've actually doubled what we were able to do last
Wow.
year. So hitting that goal, it's really special, because what we do at the beginning of the year is we write down what our goals are going to be, for the rest of the year, or for the fall. In the fall, right now, we're planning our 2016 business plan, and hitting all of our goals has been really special. On the business side of things, it's just magic when you're showing properties, and then a buyer walks into that one house, and it's the perfect house, and you can just see it in their eyes, and they say, this is the one. And that's really cool to be able to partner with someone during that time of their life, because it's a huge emotional process. Some people don't realize how emotional it really is.
Yeah.
So being able to see that moment of, this is where I'm gonna move into and have kids and pets and holidays, and that's really a neat moment for me.
Are there any wild or crazy stories?
Oh gosh, I've had a few wild and crazy stories. Probably I've got two. My first one was a deal where we were showing houses. We were in Edmond, and the house was vacant. We saw it. I walk in with my buyers. I walk in with my buyers, and we were approaching the master bedroom, and I hear water running. And I say, oh gosh, what is that? So we get a little bit closer, and as we found out, the shower was on.
Oh,
and
no.
So we quickly left, because I didn't want to surprise someone in the shower. And we locked up, and I think we might have surprised somebody, but I don't think they knew we were there. And then there are some other crazy things. I mean, I'm sure you've seen crazy stories on the news and stuff like that. Well, a friend of mine had a family who the husband had a murder-suicide situation. He shot his wife, and then he shot himself, and then they tried to sell the house.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, it was terrifying. And she told me about it, and of course, I went online to look it up to see if I could see any evidence, because I'm kind of a CSI gal, but I couldn't find anything. And it was under contract. Someone had bought it, and so I called the person, of course, and I said, do you know what happened in that house?
Well,
and of course they didn't know, and the next thing I know, it's back on the market. So it was my responsibility for ruining the deal, but man, I would want to know if it were me.
Well, of course, that's the responsible thing to do.
It is. So I couldn't keep it a secret, but it was kind of scary.
Well, yeah. And it sounds like you just have to be ready and prepared for anything that might come down the pike.
Yes.
And I know that we've joked about it before, off the air, that you carry your little taser around.
Oh, trust me, I've got my taser. Don't cross me.
Wow. Well, do you have any final helpful tips for anyone that is looking to buy or sell a home?
I hear this, especially this time of year, around the holidays specifically, of this is not a good time to sell and it's not a good time to buy. I will tell you, our market in Oklahoma City is extremely good.
Wow.
We've had a steady flow of inventory in our market, and our market is still leaning towards the seller's market, though we are getting more inventory on the market now. But I will tell you, this time of year is what we call buyer urgency. So buyers are not looking, if you're looking to sell your property or anything like that, buyers are very, very serious in the holiday season. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking to buy, because who wants to go out during Thanksgiving and Christmas and go house hunting and uproot their family? They're really serious. And so my advice to sellers right now is, if you're on the fence about it, the holidays are a great time, because all the buyers that we have at this time of year have a lot of urgency. And then for buyers, there really is no perfect time to buy. It's just whenever it's best for you and best for your family is the best time to buy. There's no perfect time of year. It's never going to be perfect economy-wise. It's just going to be when's the best time for you and your family to make that decision.
Wow. If there's someone that is looking at realty as a career, and they're doing some heavy thinking about it. What advice would you give them, or words of wisdom?
I say do it. It's a leap of faith. It really is. If you feel called to that and you feel a passion for it, it's at least worth having a conversation. I say find somebody who's in real estate who you look up to and you admire. Find the nearest real estate office and go talk to the broker. Figure out what it's going to take to get your real estate license and get going, because it's a great career. It's a great life.
Sounds like it's very, very rewarding.
It is.
Folks, we're out of time. Kacie, I want to thank you so much for coming on to Oklahoma Voice and sharing your real estate expertise. So,
thank you, Jonathan.
You're very welcome. Please give us one more time your contact information.
Sure. It's Kacie Kinney. That's spelled KACIEKINNEY. You can reach me at KacieKinney.com or KacieKinney@KW.com is my email address. You can also Google me, and you'll find me on Zillow, Trulia, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find me.
Awesome. Well, Kacie, you will be on again, and we'll be looking forward to that moment when we can share another evening with you. So, again, thank you so much, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
As always, it has been a pleasure. Good night, good luck, and thunder up. Thanks for listening. This has been Oklahoma Voice with Jonathan Clour. Tune in Monday through Friday night at 7 p.m. on the TuneIn Radio app, by live streaming at KTLV.com, or by radio on station 1220 AM. Hi, this is Jonathan Clour.